Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 643, March Madness and Premier League titles. Big Chillians, welcome back to the Big Chill Podcast. I'm Frank, joined as always with Eddie. Eddie, how's it going?
Yeah, things are going pretty well. Just got back from a bar watching the Champions League matches. And if you want to know how listeners might be able to understand this, if you want to know how good of a mood I'm in, I was exchanging a few text messages with former co-host Sam, who is extremely upset about the Arsenal not being awarded a penalty late in the match against Bayern Munich.
At the very end.
And I offered to him that if he really wanted to, he could come on and make a case on the podcast for why they should have been given the penalty. And he turned it down. So that is a reflection of the mood that I'm in, that I would have even extended that olive branch to Sam. He smashed it out of my hand, so he'll never be offered one again.
Yeah, literally the last play of the match. No call.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to start there. We've obviously got a few different topics to cover. We can go with the Champions League if you want to kick things off there. We can March Madness, a host of other bits and pieces from around the world of sport. Do we go?
We can start with that because there's two exciting matches, right? I mean, two matches where it seemed like there weren't goalkeepers at a point here. I guess the over 3.5 in both matches was a lock.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can blame. Maybe the Bayern Munich first goal, David Raya kind of went walkabout for a period, but for the most part, the goals were sort of unstoppable from a goalkeeping perspective. So yeah, obviously finished 2-2 between Arsenal and Bayern Munich. I don't really know. They've got rid of away goals, so I don't think that's advantage Bayern necessarily, but they will definitely feel a bit more confident maybe now than they did coming into the tie. And same with City, 3-3 against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. They'll feel good about themselves going home, but both of those, there were two away teams leading relatively late on. And they both would have felt very, very good had they picked up the away win. The draw, as you were, almost.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit before the podcast about what would be the bets. And I ultimately went with City double coupled with Bayern Munich double chance. So that hit. And at 75 minutes of each match, I felt great. Great. Yeah. They're both winning. It was to the point where you give I knew I should have picked them just to win. Didn't need the double chance. And then by 80, it was, oh, fuck, they better just hold on right now. This is not good.
Which, Bayern were very good on the break. They didn't create a lot outside of the 2 goals they scored. They had 1 or 2 other chances. But they were very efficient on the break. Like, you can't be overly critical of them. They played very well. I think City were the better side. They might feel a little bit disappointed that they didn't win the match, especially once they got themselves in front. But still, it's a decent result. And fundamentally, I mean, City will definitely feel confident at home that they should be able to get themselves through. Not that they have exactly, it's not a intimidating place to go and play from an atmosphere perspective. But, they'll feel pretty good about themselves. Bayern, they would have taken it if you'd offered it to them. I think especially on the back of what happened to them at the weekend, blowing the 2-0 lead. Things are going so badly for them in the league that I think, this is at least a positive for them. So that's good. The big talking point is that Saka, the penalty not being awarded at the very end. I'm of the opinion.
Let me give mine because I think I have the less educated opinion. Watching that in real time, I thought penalty. Watching it when they show the replays, which is what VAR would be looking at. They would be able to take into account, like, what does it look like when we actually take a good look at it? It looks like he is going past him and almost purposely kind of puts his leg out to clip the keeper to fall down to try and get the penalty. And maybe that's unfair, and maybe that's one of those, you can't say when you slow things down that, he's trying to do that. That's just him in real time. But it definitely looks like he sticks that right leg out with the intent of trying to get some contact to draw a call.
Yeah, I would be in 100% agreement with you. You saw it in real time and it looked a stonewall penalty. Like, you just saw it happen, like, there we go, penalty.
Yep.
And then it wasn't, and I think you got to give the referee credit, because I do think if he had awarded it on the pitch, I think it stays a penalty, because I think it's one of those that it's hard to overturn either way. But the reality is, I actually think Saka fouls Neuer. I think he kicks his leg out in an unnatural way, and I think you can make a very strong argument that he has fouled Neuer in the process. But you cannot, and it depends on the angles. Some of the angles you see, it looks a bit more natural, but fundamentally, his right leg goes flying out to initiate that contact.
No one runs by making their leg go 90 degrees perpendicular from their body. That is not a natural running motion.
The way he moves his leg, it would be like telling me, almost like when people are doing like the side hurdles. You know what I mean? Like when you're warming up and you're doing the like the one-legged hurdle to warm up. That's
for those who can't see, Eddie is trying to mime doing the hurdles, but it's not moving his legs; it's just moving his arms.
Well, you can't see my legs, Frank, either, so you wouldn't know if I were moving them. But yeah, no, it was, because here's the thing I'm going to say. If you're listening to this and you think we're wrong, you're basically telling me, Saka is an incredibly athletic, coordinated human being. So you're telling me that in that moment, he fundamentally lost control of his right leg, that was his natural running motion when making a turn. This is a player who can stop on a dime, runs around players that are, has incredible levels of control of his own body. And at that moment was basically behaving like a toddler trying to run around an obstacle. And I just can't buy it. And here's the thing is, I think if I put myself into Saka's position, he thought that there was going to be more contact, that Neuer was rushing out, he was going to knock the ball back, and he was expecting the contact to come, and Neuer kind of held himself back. And then Saka went looking for that additional contact because he thought it was going to be there. I think Saka, with hindsight, would think, I knocked the ball by him. I probably could have just tapped it into the net if I hadn't tried to fall over. From Neuer's perspective, I'm not also going to say he was innocent. He kind of knew what he was doing too. Like, I think in a different scenario, he was going to definitely take Saka out. But it's not a penalty for me. Like, it's just not. It's not a trailing leg. I'll give a difference. Harvey Elliott's penalty against the Liverpool were awarded late against Manchester United at the weekend.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka makes a very reckless challenge in the penalty area. But when you slow it down, Harvey Elliott actually starts to fall before there's any contact, and actually also kind of initiates contact himself. He sticks his right leg out and trips over Wan-Bissaka, kind of knowingly. The difference there is Wan-Bissaka just got in Harvey Elliott's way. Like, there's no doubt that Harvey Elliott was going to fall over him. Harvey Elliott was just being smart in I see the obstacle there. I know I need to fall over it. Whereas Saka could have run around Neuer and instead chose to try and trip over him. And that, to me, I don't think it should be a penalty. Don't get me wrong. If that had been Blackburn Rovers, if that had been England, I want it to be given. But from an objective standpoint, I don't think it's a penalty.
Yeah, I was definitely way more okay with the Harvey Elliott one. Um, I don't think the Saka was one.
The Harvey Elliott one is a penalty. I'm
Yeah,
just saying you can go into Twitter or whatever and you can
I know.
watch
That's what yeah.
you can
You'll
watch
see people
United
who argue it.
supporters go into slow motion and say, "But look, he's falling over before the contact happens." And sometimes, we've spoken about it previously. Slow motion doesn't help because when people are moving at full speed, the smallest thing can make you lose balance or make you start to fall over. And we can't necessarily appreciate that when you slow it down. And sometimes part of that is predictive, that you can see contact coming. And so you start to try and get out of the way because you obviously don't want to trap an ankle or a foot or whatever underneath someone. Saka kicks out at Neuer. I mean, some of the angles make it look a little bit more favorable for him, but when you really see the sort of behind angle, he's lashing out at Neuer. And if you reversed it, if that had been a Bayern defender doing the same thing to Saka in the penalty area, I think people would have wanted a penalty for what Saka did. So I'm fine. I honestly, I give the referee a lot of credit because in real time, it looked like such a stonewall penalty just because of the situation that you're in of an attacking player at speed, knocking the ball around the goalkeeper and then going over. Very hard to not give a penalty in that situation.
So I have two talking points for topics that we brought up previously. And I know this is a one game look into this, but we did talk previously about who would have the greater career all said and done with Saka, Jude Bellingham, and Phil Foden. And we got to see all three at the same time on the big stage. And what's your takeaway today?
I mean, obviously Foden scored a great goal, so that it's easy to look at that. And I thought Bellingham played well as well. I don't think Saka played badly. I think if I ordered it right now, Foden's been so good over the last 3 months that it's tough because he has been, if he maintains this form, I mean, there is a strong argument that he is the best player in the world at the moment on form. So I'll go. I think Bellingham has the best career. Foden has the second best, and Saka has the third. And I might even say at this point, I might start to create some daylight between Saka and Foden. Like I think we might get into the. I think there is
turned off by the trying to take the penalty instead of trying to score the goal.
I just think there's a possibility here.
We overreacted.
That Bellingham and Foden are going to have such good careers that it will almost, when everything is said and done, almost sound ridiculous that we considered putting Saka into the same conversation, if you see what I mean. And that's not a knock on him. He could have a very good career in the process. But I think there is a chance here that we might be looking at, two of the very, very best players of their generation versus Saka just being one of the best English players of his generation. And that's going to be a very different conversation.
And then the other question we had is Erling Haaland and his kind of disappearance in big matches. What would you assess today? Obviously, Champions League match, big match. They had 3 goals, but always could have used some more.
Yeah, and he wasn't really involved in any of those goals. So sometimes you would think, well, he's dragging people out of position or he's involved in something, but you're talking about a goal directly from a free kick, so he has no involvement in that whatsoever, aside from just posing a threat in the box, which maybe contributes to the way Real Madrid are reacting to it ahead of time. And then 2 other goals kind of out of nothing from outside the box. He definitely has a little bit of a disappearing act at the moment. And I think he does have something to prove. City have a a lot at stake in all of their remaining matches now. And Holland is going to have to deliver something, and not just against the bottom feeder clubs in the Premier League that City are going to play on the pad in their remaining handful of matches. He is going to have to score a goal against Real Madrid, a goal against the Spurs, the better teams they're playing in the Premier League, and not just because there's also a situation in which he scores a goal against Spurs when City are winning 4-0. Like, he needs to score a goal that becomes memorable. I think Holland has memorable goals at the moment in terms of the quality of the goals scored. Like the acrobatic goals he scored at different moments in time, or when he's just shown off his physical abilities. He doesn't really have a memorable goal in terms of the moment. And at a certain moment of time, at a certain time, he needs to deliver a significant goal in terms of the situation. And we'll see. He's going to have a lot of opportunities over the next 6 weeks. Let's see if he does it.
Yeah, he'll have some time to be a hero. The other talking point, I guess, if we stick with Premier League or European football, was the Liverpool United match you mentioned, another 2-2 draw. The last one you labeled an instant classic. This one, I don't think quite makes the instant classic, but another exciting match. I mean, they're putting together a few really good, exciting matches to watch, and that was another one I woke up and watched the entire match and enjoyed myself.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, the first half, maybe not quite so good. It was all Liverpool until United scored with their first attempt. And then that kind of kicked the game into life.
Yeah.
And sometimes...
I think Liverpool have to be disappointed in exactly what you said, that first half. I mean, it was all Liverpool, and they just missed so many chances. And that's one of those things, like, having played sports and having that scenario, it always starts to weigh on you as you get closer to the end of the game, where you start thinking like, man, we should have scored so many times in the beginning. Now, like, look, we fucked ourselves here. Like, what the hell were we doing? And I think they kind of had to be thinking that a little bit.
I think against United, yes. This is a Liverpool team that has shown a lot of resilience and inner belief in matches over this season, right? Finding late goals, winning games they maybe should not have. But the reverse has been true against United this season. They've now played each other 3 times. Liverpool haven't won any of those matches. Nope. They should have won all of them. And so I do think there's maybe that feeling at halftime in that match of, we've been here before, twice this season. This game should be dead and buried. We should be 3 or 4 goals ahead. We should be thinking about the next match. And instead, we're within touching distance. And in the end, they were almost lucky to get away with a point, not in terms of the balance of play, but because they required a late penalty. So friend of the podcast, Jake, threw up a statistic in a group chat I'm in. He wanted to make clear that he did not come up with a statistic himself. And I think it was something off the top of my head. I think it was that Liverpool have had, in the 3 matches they played against United this season, 87 attempts at goal.
I saw this.
And did not win any of the matches. I mean, it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Now, they did score quite a few goals across those 3 matches, but yeah, I mean, it's just, in a way, it's the weird feeling I have about the Premier League as a whole. I think City are by far the best team. However, both Liverpool and Arsenal show elements of being able to win matches late on that City kind of lack. And yet at the same time, you have these weird slip-ups from each of them. So all of these teams make me uncomfortable and confident in different ways at different moments. But going back to a conversation we had, again, on a recent episode, I will also give credit any Arsenal supporters who listened to the first discussion about Bayern Munich and feel like we were too harsh on them, and I said this to you again off podcast, Manchester United showed more attacking intent in that match than Arsenal showed against City. And again, I think Arsenal should be ashamed of themselves on the basis of then what we saw from a team
You don't
like
have
that.
to double down on this.
I
No
do.
one.
I 100% do.
We don't need to just hear this every time.
No, we do.
We've heard it. We've heard it multiple times now.
But it again, and it was an interesting. I was in a bar watching the match tonight, and part of the conversation then went on to, what do you think Arteta and Arsenal will do in the match in Munich now? And a lot of Arsenal supporters said, I think we'll park the bus like we did at City, and honestly, we'll take extra time and penalties. That says a lot, because I don't think you're going to talk to any City supporters who would say, we'll park the bus and take extra time and penalties against Real Madrid at home in the return leg. And it doesn't matter, right, what I think of whether or not you're true champions or what anyone thinks, but still, there are these, I think we see these moments from either Liverpool or Arsenal where I just don't feel like they're truly there. On the last point, on the Liverpool in particular, a discussion that you and I have also had off podcast, a topic of conversation that is bothering me is this thread, this idea that Liverpool winning this Premier League,
Destiny, legends,
cement
legendary.
this team as being legendary, Premier League greats, propel Klopp and members of this Liverpool team into a sort of different stratosphere in terms of their legacy.
Well, him leaving definitely adds to that. It just adds to the story, right? You know, like final season, goes out a champion, blah, blah, blah. Like that definitely adds to this legendary destiny type of team.
It's a cool story. However, the idea that this is going to make this Liverpool team, if they want to be Liverpool legends, that's for Liverpool supporters to decide. I've got no say in that. Premier League legends, I think we forget. Like Klopp, ultimately, he's going to go on like tier 2 for me of Premier. Regardless, they could win everything they got left. It doesn't matter. We're talking about a Premier League. Let's go true Premier League. So we've got 30 years of history in the Premier League. In that time, you've got Sir Alex Ferguson, who's put together multiple teams that have won Premier Leagues and Champions League. You had Arsene Wenger, who was at Arsenal for, nearly 20 years, had the invincible side, won multiple Premier Leagues. You had Jose Mourinho, who the Chelsea team, maybe comparable to what Liverpool have achieved, like that Chelsea period. I mean, Chelsea were more dominant from a Premier League perspective, but a relatively short period of time in which Mourinho and Chelsea had that stint. Like Klopp doesn't make the short list. You're basically just saying if you win the Premier League twice, that makes you a legend. I mean, it's farcical, to be honest with you. Like I've not even mentioned Guardiola in that conversation. Like he'll go down as a decent manager and a good team. But to be a legend from a coaching perspective in the Premier League, I think you need to show that you can put together multiple top-level squads that have different components. Fundamentally, his success at Liverpool has been built around kind of the same core group, the same key players, Salah, Van Dijk. Yes, some of the parts around them have changed. Alisson came in, but there's kind of a core group there. He's not shown that he can rebuild a side and re-achieve that same standard of performance, whereas Ferguson showed that. Wenger showed that. Kind of. Mourinho kind of showed that. I think Guardiola has shown that. Like you've seen the early City team under Guardiola, completely different components to what the City team is now.
$1 billion will do that.
Well, Liverpool still spend money too. let's not pretend that Liverpool have spent nothing to achieve things. Maybe not quite as much, sure, but they've spent money. I don't know. I just don't put them the legendary talk, the idea that he is entering into this sort of elite class of managers. I don't quite buy it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think some of the talk comes from one, Klopp's last season, so kind of going out a champion. But I think the other thing too is, like we've been discussing, that knack for that last minute goal. And whether that makes you a legend or lucky, I don't know. But having the knack to kind of in the 85th minute, 88th minute, score the game winner or the tying goal that gets you that 1 point you need, against drawing the penalty and putting it in for against United to at least get 1 point. That happens a lot to them. So I think that adds to the lure as well. Whereas if City go through and win this, people won't think back and say like, oh, remember all those times City came back? They could have easily lost. They're just going to say, remember that time City just dominated teams and would fucking score 6-7 goals at a
I don't
clip?
know though. I think you're right. I think that this Liverpool team has shaped that narrative of the late goals, even from the very beginning. Like they've had Merseyside derby goals that have been come in late and stuff. But you think back to a couple of years ago, City won that Premier League coming back from 2-0 down. We almost overlook that now. That's how good City are.
That's what I mean, though. But
No,
that's
no,
what
but
I mean. It's like
but do you know
we
what I
don't
mean? Like,
think of that because City are just such a good club
right, but
that
they
when we
have it.
think of it, we don't think of they have these great comebacks. We just think that they are like monsters,
No, yeah,
monstars, one could say.
yeah, sure. But I agree with you. But you know what I mean? Like, this is why they're not legends, because the moments that would be legendary for Liverpool are almost afterthoughts for City, like the comeback against, who was that, Aston Villa in the final match of the season, I think, when they came back from 2-0 down. Was it Aston? Maybe it wasn't. Whoever it was. That's an afterthought almost for City now. The Vincent Company goal against, I think it was Leicester, when he scored from outside the box, it's almost an afterthought now. But they needed that at the time. If that were for Liverpool, you'd have those assholes with guitars making shit songs that they sing in the stands about them. Like, we'd have to hear about it nonstop. And yeah, it's
Well, let's then let go through. So right now you have Arsenal atop the table at 71, Liverpool also at 71, and then City at 70, all with 7 matches remaining. And I'll go through
and with
each.
Arsenal for those significant goal difference advantage.
Yes.
So realistically, if they're going to finish level, Arsenal are going to win the league.
Yeah.
Unlikely that anyone closes the gap.
9 goal differential.
Yeah, probably no one closing the gap from a goal difference perspective.
So Arsenal have left Aston Villa, who's currently 4th, Wolves, Chelsea, who some people think might get relegated, but they are at 10th right now in the table. Spurs, who are sitting 5th, Bournemouth, Manchester United at 6th, and Everton at 15th. So not the easiest schedule. I mean, you have the 4th, 5th,
tough.
and 6th. Yeah,
it's tough.
you have Spurs and United both away.
Yeah, I think you look at that, you think Villa, United, Spurs.
How many points are they losing? Let's say.
I think they're dropping points in 3 matches. I don't know when a loss or draws. I think there's 3, because you also then go to like Everton, who are better than their points, their standings indicate, because they have points deductions and actually have been pretty good in recent times and will be fighting for their lives. So literally will be scrapping for every blade of grass in that match. That's not what you want to dream up at the end of the season. All right, let's
go. I'll let you go quick.
Yeah.
Villa home.
Win.
Okay. Wolves away.
Win.
Okay. Chelsea home.
Draw.
Ooh, okay. Spurs away.
Draw.
Okay. Bournemouth home.
Win, but I think that's harder than it also looks on paper.
Okay. United away.
Draw.
Okay. Everton home.
Win. But I think they're out of the picture at that point. Nothing to play for against Everton. I think this is classic. They win 7-0 on the final day of the season and no one gives a shit. But
Okay. That's 15 points then, you're saying?
Yeah, I feel good with that.
All right. So that's Arsenal. Okay. Next, you have Liverpool. Similar schedule. They have Crystal Palace home, Fulham away, Everton away, West Ham away, Spurs home, Aston Villa away, Wolves home. So I'll go through that again. Crystal Palace home.
Win.
Okay. Fulham away.
Win.
Okay. I don't think that's very easy.
It's not.
No. And then Everton away. So back to back. Deceiving matches there, I think.
Merseyside derby, Everton fighting back. I'll give them the win, but yeah, that's a tough match.
West Ham away.
Draw.
Eventually, one of those has to be a draw, I think.
Yeah. Draw.
I think if they come out of that, you'd think they'd be set, but then they go right to Spurs, which makes it really tough. That's a tough match.
I also think is a draw.
Okay. And then Aston Villa away.
I'm going to say win.
Okay. And then Wolves home.
Win. But I'll say this. I kind of almost want to say one of the Spurs and Villa matches is a draw. If you see what I mean, like in the prediction there. Like, I don't think they're getting 6 points from that combination of fixtures. I think it's
Spurs and Villa.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, you did. You said that.
No, and I said Spurs draw, but in a sense, I want to say
you're saying like, with one or the other.
Yeah, they're getting 4 points from that combination of matches.
So then you have Liverpool at 17 points, so then they would be ahead. That would put them at 88 total.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, City have left Luton, 18th in the league. Spurs away, 5th. Brighton away, 10th in the league. Nottingham Forest, 17th. Wolves, 11, home. Fulham away, and West Ham home.
Let me just be quick with you. That's 7 remaining fixtures. I'm going to go win, 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 win. 21 points. 24, sorry.
No, 21.
21, yeah, 21.
Yeah. So that puts City to win the title at 91 points.
Yeah, there we go.
Over Liverpool at 88.
Yeah. I think there's nothing left to play for almost in the final match of the season.
Well, there would be.
Sort of, depending if they're 3 points ahead.
For 3 points ahead. West Ham, it's not a game.
If you see so what's the goal difference? I think City and Liverpool are pretty much on the same goal difference standing at the moment. Pretty similar.
They're literally tied. No, Liverpool's 2 ahead. Sorry.
Right. So if we imagine that City are 3 points ahead going into the final match of the season, that means they're probably 4 or 5 goals ahead on goal difference. I think we're saying mathematically possible going into the final day, but realistically not happening.
No slip-ups. Spurs away. Not even concerned.
We've been here before, Frank. I mean, we've just been here until we stop seeing this from City. And I know they've looked a bit more vulnerable this season. There have been more injury concerns, especially at the moment defensively. They're missing a lot of players. Foden even tonight went off with what looked like a slight knock. Who knows how serious that is? He didn't look very happy. Maybe he's going to miss this weekend. Who knows? They have tough Champions League matches ahead of them. But we've been here before for the last few years. And what did we see? They just run off wins down the stretch. And here's the other difference. Last season when we had the same conversation, at times I kind of gave Arsenal the edge because they didn't have European football. And because part of what I said was the priority for City was winning the Champions League. The priority this season for City is winning the Premier League. Like, this is going to be a statement. 2 of you went toe-to-toe with us, and we did it again. Of course, they want the treble. They want to win it all. But they will punt the Champions League and the FA Cup at the expense of winning the Premier League this year. I think they would have done the opposite last year. Arsenal fell apart, so it didn't even really become a factor. I think Look,
You don't think they go for the treble again?
I
Back
think
to back treble.
I think, of course, they will. It would put them into a different,
Legendary status.
yes. However, I think having won the Champions League and kind of proved themselves on that level last season, I think this season they would see winning the Premier League up against the challenge that Arsenal and Liverpool have provided. Because this kind of, if Liverpool win the league, for example, I think people will sort of say in the Klopp Guardiola Premier League head to head, maybe it's a tie. Even though Guardiola will have won more Premier Leagues, given the difference in financial spending power and given what Klopp
And
inherited
more
versus
trophies
what,
in general.
yeah, but given what Klopp inherited versus what Guardiola inherited, maybe they'd almost say it was a push. And I think some people might even say edge to Klopp because, oh, well, Liverpool could have won the Premier League, could have won another Champions League. I think it will mean more. Like, this is the knockout blow from Guardiola. Like, Klopp goes into a different level. Forget about it. Arteta, who kind of was his heir, we're going to stop him from winning the Premier League. I think the Premier League this season means more. So if it means they rest a player, I don't think they're really going to have to be in a situation where they rest a player. But for example, if it's a choice, does Kevin De Bruyne play in the Champions League match right now or a Premier League match? I think Kevin De Bruyne is starting the Premier League match, depending on who the opponent is. Not against Luton, but yeah, against, Spurs, for example. I think the priority is let's get the squad prepped for that Spurs match over a Champions League match we might have.
So, Eddie, interesting that you brought up the Guardiola versus Klopp comparison, because I actually have a great trivia question for you. You just lobbed that softball up for me. Can you name the 5 footballers who have played for both Klopp and Guardiola?
Almost certainly no.
Only 5. And I will say it's a pretty good list.
So I would say Thiago played for Bayern Munich, maybe under Guardiola and Liverpool Klopp.
Yep. Thiago won 17 trophies under Guardiola and 4 under Klopp.
I was trying to think. Bayern Munich to Liverpool might just be Thiago. I'm trying to think. Maybe I'm missing someone. I'm guessing James Milner was gone from... I'll put James Milner. I think he maybe have scraped in under Guardiola at City and then went to Liverpool, but maybe he was gone from City by the time Guardiola arrived, but I'll say James Milner.
No.
Shit. I'm trying to think, like, all the Barcelona. It's so tough with Guardiola because you're covering, like, Guardiola's covering way more. Well, Holland, Dortmund, and City. No? Klopp was gone? I might almost give up, to be honest with you. I'm trying to think.
I will say there's no current player. None of them are currently playing for their respective club manager.
Can you give me the combination of teams, like City, Liverpool,
I don't have that information,
you don't have that?
and I'm not good enough to know.
Can you give me clues? Nationality? Do you know?
Yeah, I'll give you one good clue.
All right.
One has phenomenal calves.
Okay, wait. Jack Grealish?
No, it's not Grealish. The next best calves. Furlong loves them.
Loves?
Been compared to myself due to height. And Furlong loves them, so that gives you a hint at who he played for.
Yeah, Liverpool, but phenomenal calves. No.
Big old set of legs on him.
You had to give me a better set of clues.
He's short.
Yeah, I figured that. The strong calves tend to lead towards short people. But,
he's Swiss.
Oh, Shaqiri.
Yeah. So not much. 63 under Klopp, 42 under Guardiola. Next one is German.
German. Do you know position?
Now plays for, I believe.
That's a good clue.
Frankfurt.
Oh, that's not a good clue.
Yeah.
What's his position?
Midfielder.
Any more? What type of midfielder? Do I get anything more than
attacking midfielder? How about that? Dortmund, Bayern Munich, Dortmund.
Okay,
major clubs.
Okay. Oh. Oh shit. Oh. Okay, give me that one. That one I'll get.
66 apps for Germany as well.
Yeah, that one I'll get. Come, give me another one. That one.
Okay. One is quite possibly the best players in European football in the last 10 years.
Well, it's not Messi. It's not Ronaldo.
Keep going. One more.
No. Oh, Lewandowski.
Yes.
All right. So I've got 3 of them.
And the other one is also German midfielder, also Dortmund, and his other team for Pep was City. Played a ton for City.
Played a ton. German played a ton. Gundogan?
Yep.
Okay. And I think that the other one is Mario Götze.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Kind of got there. I should have been able to do that. Especially Gundogan should have come to me a bit.
Yeah, that one. And Lewandowski.
Yeah, but it's hard with him because, I don't know, the Klopp Dortmund era, sometimes hard to picture, but yeah.
So I hope there were some people screaming at their headsets for that one.
Look, all I'll say is I took long enough there that listeners were given the opportunity to make their own guesses. Sometimes you can reel them off too quickly, and then it's no fun. At least there, they had their chance. All right. Which sport? You know what? I'm going to give you a legacy. We're going to transition to American sports now.
Ooh.
And I'm going to give you
going to Caitlin Clark.
No, we're going to go
UConn.
Quickly. We're going to go NFL.
Okay.
And I want to give you a question I saw over the weekend.
And then I'm going to give you a question I saw over the weekend.
But this one doesn't have a definitive answer. This is a discussion topic.
Okay.
Which one of these quarterbacks is more of a Hall of Famer? Russell Wilson, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, Matthew Stafford, Cam Newton. Rank those 5 in terms of, they might all be Hall of Famers, potentially. I think probably they will be. I think Phillip Rivers is probably the only one who might miss out on being a Hall of Famer. But in terms of, in your mind, rank them in terms of how much of a Hall of Famer they are.
Say it again. Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, Phillip Rivers,
Matthew Stafford,
Eli, and Stafford.
Yeah.
Oh,
so obviously a little bit difficult because in Stafford and Wilson, you got 2 active quarterbacks. I guess Cam Newton technically would consider himself an active quarterback. He's not retired, but probably won't play again. Rivers and Eli Manning will never play again. So we know exactly what their careers look like.
Okay. Stafford, 1-time Super Bowl champ. Eli, 2-time Super Bowl champ.
Rivers, nothing.
Russell Wilson, 1-time. Phillip Rivers, nothing.
Yeah.
Cam Newton, MVP, NFL MVP. Eli, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. I think he got them both years.
I think so. Yeah.
And Phillip Rivers, nothing.
Phillip Rivers just like nothing from a credential standpoint. just angry and kind of won a lot of games, statistically very good career. But no MVPs, no Super Bowl appearances. Most of those quarterbacks too, right? Like, okay, Cam Newton, Super Bowl loss.
Yeah.
So Super Bowl appearance on the resume.
So I mean, you argue they all could be Hall of Famers. I could argue that none of them are Hall of Famers.
You could do. Go for it if you want.
But if I had to rank them, wow. I never thought I'd say the day that Eli Manning might be number one on that list as a guy who is an avid Giants fan, but has argued against Eli being a Hall of Famer. I think he might top that list. I would say, okay, I'm going to go with Eli 1. Russell Wilson 2. Cam Newton 3. Stafford 4, but could jump. And Phillip Rivers 5. So my reasoning, Eli, 2-time Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, has a ton of stats, like number-wise, like leads the Giants in franchise, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But had some Pro Bowls, but I don't think was ever an All-Pro. Second would be Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson was at least once like a first-team All-Pro that one year, has a Super Bowl under his belt, and had 6 good years. I would almost put Cam Newton ahead of him if Cam Newton just had a few more good years. Like, to me, Cam Newton had 3 to 4 good years. He's right in that cutoff where did he have enough of a career to be a Hall of Famer? Like, his top is the top of anyone's top. Like, his year where he dominated, won the MVP, that's the best performance of a quarterback in 1 year out of any of those 5. Or maybe not even close of an argument. Like, he was dominant that year, but he wasn't at that level for long enough. And that's my only concern is, we've talked about this before, there has to be some sort of longevity in being a Hall of Famer. Stafford, I then put next because I think he's going to play another 4 or 5 years and still be pretty good and put up a ton of stats. And now that he has the Super Bowl, I think that bumps him up. And then Phillip Rivers just has stats from playing 27 years. So I'm not a big Rivers as a Hall of Famer. I mean, he has nothing to say that he was ever the best at his position at any time in the NFL.
Yeah, I would say I mostly agree with you. And I think, I think only Russell Wilson and Cam Newton
it's tough.
Have a legitimate case for who were at one moment in time the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, Russell Wilson is kind of spoiling how we remember how good he was because of how bad he is now.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to remember just how good he was during that sort of Legion of Boom Seahawks era. I think I would go Wilson 1, Eli 2, Cam Newton 3, Stafford 4, Rivers 5. I think the first 4 are Hall of Famers and Phillip Rivers is not. And I
don't know if Stafford's a Hall of Famer yet.
I think he's going to be, though, right?
Stafford's a slightly better Phillip Rivers in the fact that, by better, I mean he has the Super Bowl. That's what makes him better.
He's situationally better. It's just that he went to the Rams. Like, that's the only thing. I guess if you're a Rivers fanboy in that Stafford comparison, maybe you say Rivers was literally up in the toughest era of quarterbacks to be up against.
And has just Antonio Gates. That's like his best weapon, whereas Stafford had arguably the most physically gifted wide receiver ever, and then a really good white wide receiver.
And then maybe the best white wide receiver ever. Yeah, if you're defending Philip Rivers, you'd say in any other era he maybe wins the Super Bowl, or if he'd been able to find himself on a better team, he maybe wins the Super Bowl.
I'm okay with people who would switch Wilson and Eli. I'm okay with that. Like I to me, I think one Super Bowl is not an anomaly, but can happen. But I think when you have two Super Bowls and you're the reason your team has won both of those Super Bowls, I think that does speak a lot. I think two kind of starts to set you apart.
I also think the nature and the way that the Giants won them, right? And Eli wasn't necessarily the reason why they won both of those Super Bowls, but
Oh, but he has iconic passes in both of those games.
he has certainly. I think he has two of the most iconic plays. Like,
Yes.
okay, escaping the helmet catch. The pass itself is maybe not that incredible, but the play that allows him to escape the pressure and not get sacked is remarkable. And then, yeah, the
The one on the
completion
sideline.
down the sidelines is like one of the greatest
Unreal.
throws in Super Bowl history.
Oh, I'm tearing up just thinking about it.
So yeah, I think to me, genuinely, I actually think Wilson and Manning are the only two of them who should be in the Hall of Fame. But I think there's a decent chance all five of them eventually end up there, just because everyone kind of makes the Hall of Fame now. Because statistically, Philip Rivers' case is going to be so strong, and yet I don't think he's really a Hall of Famer. And I think Stafford's definitely going to get in there now that he has the Super Bowl.
I think Cam Newton might have the toughest shot of getting in out of those. And again, he at their prime, he was probably the best.
Probably, yeah. But he's pissing off a lot of people.
Yes.
I
think that's the other issue.
That might not help the Hall of Fame candidacy. But yeah.
Yes. So now I have a slightly different. This is a definitive ranking according to ranker.com. Can you name currently the top 5 most attractive NFL players according to ranker.com?
I think the way probably not.
If this were only the episode former co-host Sam was on to talk about Saka's penalty. No call.
I'm going to say this is very hard to do blind. I almost need to see. I'm trying to think.
Do you want him to like strut out for you?
I'll put Jimmy Garoppolo in the top 5.
Jimmy Garoppolo, number 1. Off to a great start here.
I'm trying to think. I'm thinking quarterbacks. I'm kind of starting by position. I don't know if any other quarterback necessarily, historically, you would have thought quarterback would be the go-to position for this list. I don't know
That's one of the most racist things you said in a while.
No, but even...
There are 2 more quarterbacks on the list.
There's 2 more? Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow, number 4. Sweet lips, Joe Burrow himself.
There's another quarterback.
Another quarterback.
Oh, shit, who could it be? I'm trying to run.
I will say they're all offensive players. So you have a quarterback left, a running back left, and a wide receiver left.
Okay. Running back, I think I have 2 candidates.
Okay.
So I think it's either Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley.
It is Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
Number 2.
What was the other position? Non-quarterback?
Wide receiver. I give you
0 chance.
0 chance.
I'm trying to think. None immediately come to mind as very attractive wide receivers. Not that there's plenty of good-looking men who play wide receiver in the NFL, but I can't think of one who's sort of standout where I'm in awe of his beauty when he's there on a Sunday.
Younger, 26 years old, was the first round pick was a first round pick in the 2018 draft.
NFC or AFC?
NFC.
NFC North?
NFC South. South, yeah. Sorry. I had to
NFC
think about that for a
South.
second.
NFC South. This is going to be tough for me. Okay, I'm going to go back to quarterback.
Okay, the quarterback is a high-profile quarterback.
Has he played in a Super Bowl?
Yes.
Has he won a Super Bowl?
No.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, number 3. So we got Jimmy Garoppolo, number 1. Saquon Barkley, number 2. Jalen Hurts, number 3. Joe Burrow, number 4. And I'll put you out of your misery. Number 5, DJ Moore of the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I would have never thought of DJ Moore. Can't even properly picture what DJ Moore looks like.
If anyone disagrees with that, it's a great opportunity to reach out to us on our social media platforms and tell us, who would you have in your top 5 most attractive NFL players?
I mean, I'll save him now. I mean, DJ Moore, he's not an unattractive man. I'm not saying that, but he's not cracking my top 5.
Surprising McCaffrey isn't on there.
McCaffrey's a good-looking guy.
Also has a very attractive wife. I think it adds to it.
Maybe.
The attractive combo.
I also think it's tough, right? Because there's so many positions. Like, McCaffrey has a lot of face time in the NFL. And so I would have thought this list, it's why when I'm saying quarterbacks lean towards it, like, this obviously favors players who get helmet off face time to identify. Because there might be offensive linemen who are very handsome, but we never see them. I mean, it's less likely. But you know what I mean? Like, there's positions. There could be a kicker who's like, my God, that guy's incredible. But we just
surprising no Kelsey on there. Either.
Travis or
either.
I don't know. I wouldn't have put either of them.
I mean, I wouldn't, but I'm saying they have the Taylor Swift bump, and then Jason Kelsey now has the, like, since he's become famous, people think he's amazing, and
he had the sexiest man tag.
Yeah.
I always think it's interesting, right? Because I think it's women who would definitely, or men. Well, I'll actually say this differently. I think Jason Kelsey's probably very popular in the gay community. I'm gonna go really controversial with some takes here. I think there's a lot of women.
What are you talking about right now?
I think there's a lot of women who would say, "My God, Jason Kelsey's so sexy," but who would never date Jason Kelsey. You know what I mean? Like the.
I am not one of those women.
You would date Jason Kelsey? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And especially if you removed the football element, the being famous and wealthy element from Jason Kelsey, I think there's even fewer women who would date him. I'm not saying he's unattractive, and he has a lot of charisma, but
Riz, they call it now. Riz.
Yeah, okay. The Gen Z listeners we have that we're trying to appeal to. But going back to your original point, is a good opportunity. Please follow the Big Chill Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Or X. And, if you're listening, leave us a rating. It does help us. Not many of our listeners, a very, very tiny percentage of our listeners leave us a rating or a review.
Yeah,
it does
leave
help.
us a fucking rating. 10 seconds.
I say this, I'm not someone who leaves reviews or ratings.
No, me neither. I'm not a review guy.
I'm gonna ask you to do something we wouldn't do. But please leave us that review or that rating.
Although I have to say, the other day I did a little deep dive into people's comments. I was watching Portnoy do his pizza reviews, and I did a deep dive. I was like kind of looking through the comments to see what people say. Originally, because I just wanted to, I hate when they don't tell you what the place is. Sometimes like certain things will cut it, so like you don't know. So I was going into the comments to see, and then I started, kind of reading through all the comments. I now have 2 comments on those people who leave those comments. One, how are there still the idiots who are saying like he says 1 bite and then he takes 7 bites? Stop. Just fucking stop. He's been doing this for like 5 years now. If you haven't figured out that that's part of the joke, then just get off of social media because you're an idiot. The second one is the people who are like, what a child. He just eats cheese pizza. Like, that's the challenge. You fucking idiot. Like, the challenge isn't the best pizza. He's saying what's like, that's the other thing too, is like, he has a style he likes. And I will give him credit. He even admits, like, some people might love this style, but I don't like it. So this is my score because I don't like it. And people still go like crazy about it. They don't understand the simplest of things.
Yeah, and I'll agree. I'll say two things on that. One, yeah, to give him his credit, he acknowledges his preferences and rates based on his preferences, not an objective, how good is this pizza?
And he always says it too. That I'll give him credit.
Yes.
Like, he is a controversial person, but he'll always say that.
And equally, I think you have to just be doing cheese pizza, because otherwise, how do you grade? Yeah. Like, if in one place you're doing pepperoni and the next place you're doing some like peppers and mushroom pizza, like, how do you compare those two things?
Consistency, man.
So you have to. Now, I will say, I think he's become kinder as a reviewer over time. Like, as controversial as a figure that he is, I think he knows the power of his reviews. If a really good review can make a business, I think he also is reluctant to like kill a business with a terrible review. So I think he's a little bit kinder nowadays. But fundamentally, going back to what you said about people not getting it, that's what you want, right? We had a conversation not long ago on the podcast. The last thing you want is apathy from listeners. We're better off either pissing people off or people loving it. But the idea of people just listening, being like, yeah, that's okay, which is what most listeners are like. That's why I'm saying leave a review. Even a bad review is almost worse than no review. You want the engagement. So infuriating people, it works.
Well, it's not like infuriating people. It's just people just being so dumb that after his 400th review, they don't get that that's part of the joke.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. All right, March Madness.
March Madness
is done, both in the men's and the women's.
Frank's bracket, not a winning bracket.
No,
I was the next, after everyone who picked UConn to win, which was like 7 people, I was the first one of a non-UConn, which is disappointing, because if I had just not picked Arizona, being like a supporter of the school, and had just went UConn, who was the best team and now back-to-back champions, I probably would have won.
Yeah, rare back-to-back champions. It obviously puts you, talking about that legendary status. It's very rare nowadays in college basketball, especially with the turnover, the number of one-and-done players, and the like roster turnover that you have. Winning back-to-back championships is rare in the men's side of things. So, UConn are going to be outliers in terms of looking back on champions over recent years. They dominated. They're also the first team, I think, ever to win back-to-back championship by more than 15 points. That's like the type of statistic you would love. It's a very niche, but I don't know how much it means.
I can give our gamblers a stat too. They are undefeated against the spread in the last 2 NCAA tournaments. Have covered every game they've played in the last 2 tournaments.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good, considering some of those games were like that first one they played against
35
Stetson or
points.
whatever. It was like, I think it was 27.5 or something like that.
How many games is it? 6?
6.
So 12 games in a row against the spread. So if you'd started with $100 and you were just doubling, you've done very nicely for yourself. Yeah, they feel like deserving champions. I thought Purdue probably are the second best, or were the second best team. So it felt like the right matchup. They kind of gave them a little bit of a run for their money in that first half into the second half. And then UConn just kind of pulled away. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I just walk away from March Madness feeling like it's slightly overrated. Just
Well, not many exciting games in the last 3 rounds.
No, and I think March Madness is built to have buzzer beaters and then drama and excitement. And when it doesn't deliver that, it's just, I think you realize, okay, these are a bunch of athletes I've never really heard of or have no affinity to and will never hear from again, and schools that I have no attachment to nor any hatred for playing against each other. Like, I have zero opinion on Purdue as a place, as a people, as anything. Like, it's just Purdue. It just exists to occasionally watch them play sports.
Well, I'll be there
And
next month. I can give you some insight.
okay, well, do a pizza
I'm
review
going to take
there.
a tour.
But, you know, for the average person, it's just kind of something that exists that you occasionally see play basketball, maybe play college football every once in a while. But I don't know. I just walk away from it feeling, I feel like college basketball needs a fix because I think we need to, I think when we compare, and it can be part of the transition, maybe the benefit the women's game has, right, is that they stay, they have
Everyone
to.
stays.
So
They don't transfer as much.
so you develop a relationship. You know Caitlin Clark in Iowa, and you know LSU and the team that's there,
Yep.
and they develop rivalries
UConn.
amongst them. They develop rivalries amongst themselves. You know who the star players are. You go into the next season knowing who they are. Like, literally now, who most people can't name who the star players in March Madness next year for them on the men's side of the game are going to be. It's going to be some player, some high school player you never heard of.
Yep. Yeah, and he'll probably be transferring the next year somewhere else. No, I think I think this year is a slight, not anomaly, but it definitely skews it a little bit because you had Caitlin Clark in her final year, you had Angel Reese in her final year, you had that rivalry from the year before and all the talk. You had South Carolina completely undefeated, cruising through teams, kind of being under discussed a little bit because of not having the star power of some of these other people. And then you had great games, right? You had a great LSU Iowa game, and then you had to follow that up with an amazing Iowa UConn game. That was probably the best game I watched out of the men's and women's combined. I mean, that game was phenomenal. And unfortunately, it went to I think, a shitty ref's call with an offensive foul with 4 seconds left that I think you kind of just let them play a little bit when it's a questionable call. I mean, we always say if it is a call, you make the call, but I think that could have went either way. But regardless, that was a really fun game to watch, really exciting, went down to the end, was back and forth, had the star power. That was a great game. I watched that entire game. Like that was awesome. And I think you're right. You're getting that more because you have the rivalries that develop over time, where you have multiple years these teams are playing each other and the same players are involved and all of that. So the women's was more exciting, and it is kind of unfortunate that it ended on a game where South Carolina in the end kind of took that game over and cruised home. But I mean, they were an undefeated team and they were really good, and maybe they needed to do that to prove to everyone that they were slightly overlooked this season with all the Caitlin Clark talk.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with anything that you said, but
And I
right
think
now,
general audience agreed. I mean, did you see ratings? Not ratings, but viewership. 19 million viewers for the women's national championship and 14 million viewers for the men's. There are caveats to that in that the women's was on Sunday on national television versus the men's Monday night on cable. But I still think that definitely speaks to something as to what people are going to want to watch and tune into.
no, I mean, there's more star power for sure in the women's college basketball game because of those factors, because you see them for multiple years. It's difficult to develop star power in a college game when players are one and done for the most part. Like, it's very, very hard. It's, I think the last legitimate star in college basketball was Zion Williamson. I think that's the last time where he was like, that guy, whoa, tune in to watch Zion. And since then, yeah, there have been very good players. And if you're following college basketball or you're getting into March Madness, there's people you want to see who you know will go on to have great NBA careers. but they're not sort of must-see TV. I think Zion was the last one of those. And it's hard to do in a year, especially when you consider that most of the time you're playing against teams that aren't really at your level. So you're going to blow out teams in the regular season by 30 points. How do you establish yourself as being a super special talent? Like, you don't have the opportunity to do that. Whereas Caitlin Clark had that chance with back-to-back tournaments and playing against stiff competition and being able to prove herself. It's hard. And the caveat you provided is a good one in terms of the comparison and the viewership. The other one is, I mean, UConn Purdue, it's not exactly a huge draw in terms of the schools themselves. UConn, yes, major basketball program historically. Purdue, less so. Still two relatively small schools. You know, you're not dealing with like big schools that will kind of draw in either neutrals in a different way. Like Duke, you know, for example, at least if they're involved, be a lot of Duke fans. There'll be a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people who hate Duke, so they're going to tune in just hoping Duke Duke loses. Whereas most people have been like, oh, UConn Purdue, don't really care what happens. Like, if your bracket isn't alive and you're not placing a bet, what's your strong opinion on UConn Purdue? So
point those schools out on a map.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance most people couldn't even tell you what state Purdue's in. Legitimately, I think. UConn, hopefully you can tell me which state it's in, but I think even then we'd probably be surprised. But yeah, I think
I don't know the town, actually.
I couldn't.
So I know Purdue is West Lafayette.
But yeah, it's
Stores. It is Stores. I did know that.
Should have known that from
I do know that.
Our driving quiz across California and Arizona. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I don't know how you fix that. If you're looking at it, you can look at what the health status is of the women's game. And if you're kind of overseeing that, you would think it's as healthy as ever. And the challenge is obviously you've lost a lot of incredible talent, and there's no guarantee of replacing that. Like, there won't be another Caitlin Clark anytime soon. How do you fill that void? Do you risk that people lose interest because you don't have that sort of generational talent involved anymore and the highlights that come with it? On the men's side of things, if you're overseeing that, how do you get close to kind of copying and replicating that success without saying you have to play 2 years in college to be eligible to play in the NBA, or be 2 years removed from your graduating high school class, or 3 years removed from your graduating high school class, like you see in college football? Very difficult to imagine how you try and create that same level of star power and identity. And even if you did put those rules in place, very good chance that a lot of the best players choose to go and play in the G League or go and play in Europe and make money, and they don't go to college anyway. You know, and maybe you're a little unlucky if LeBron's kid, if Bronny had been in March Madness, probably attracts a few more, like if USC had been in the championship game, it probably attracts a lot of people. Like, you have these little moments, but instead...
Well, Bronny's in the transfer pool now.
Yeah. It's just it's tough. I don't know how you fix the men's game, but it feels broken. And maybe it's unfixable at this point. Like, legitimately, you might be better off almost removing the requirement to play go back to, you can go straight to the NBA from high school, hoping that the very best players just go straight to just do that. And then the people who go to college have to play 2 or 3 years and they can establish themselves.
That's the rule. Either you go right to the NBA or you have to play 3 years in college.
Maybe if they were paying you, like if the NIL deal you sign is good enough, if Duke could offer you $10 million for 3 years to come and play at Duke, but you got to be there, maybe people sign up.
I mean, that's been a discussion. That'll be an interesting thing moving forward with the NIL deals, is can they actually put players on contracts? And that's been brought up a few times now to try and prevent players from entering the transfer portal every year.
Yeah.
It's not a terrible argument, because I will say the transfer portal is also starting to ruin college football, because there's another sport where now into next year, half of the teams that you watch are going to have completely different players and mismatched players, and it's like, what's the point?
Especially in college football at those key positions like quarterback. You're
Yeah,
like, oh, okay, yeah, I know who the quarterback is for Nebraska. It's like, nope, no, you don't anymore. That
yeah.
guy, he's now the quarterback at Michigan. So, adapt to that. But yeah, I agree with you. One thing I do want to say, a lot of people saying, obviously, Caitlin Clark is heading to the WNBA, that she's sacrificing money in order to do so because her NIL deals are more than she's going to earn in her salary in the WNBA. She can still
But you
get
can't.
She can still get endorsements in the WNBA. People are treating it like fundamentally the NIL is her
Yeah,
endorsement deals.
she'll still make more money from
Yeah.
endorsements.
No, but literally, you have people being like, whoa, what a sacrifice on the part of Caitlin Clark, turning her back on more money at Iowa to go to the WNBA. It's like, no, she can sign those same endorsement deals and have a salary. Like,
Yeah.
she should, in a sense, be guaranteed whatever she's currently earning plus a salary. But, we'll see.
Will this make you now, Eddie, tune into some WNBA games, with a lot of these players now transitioning into playing in the WNBA either this year or next year?
So I think over the course of a year, on average, I probably watch 4 WNBA games every once in a while. We'll turn on the
Will
TV.
you watch 5 now?
Maybe, but I'll say this: I watch more WNBA games than the average person. I feel confident in that, even though it's only at 4. And what I really want to say to all these people who, if you are
Oh boy, here we go.
no, but
Here we go.
if you're critical of why do WNBA games not get the same level of attention, why watch it, go to it. You get to vote with your viewership and your dollar and your attendance. And there's a lot of people who tuned in to watch Iowa, watch Iowa play basketball in football stadiums who won't go to a WNBA game. You have the chance to make your small vote. It might not matter on an individual basis, but it matters if 10,000 people do it in a city. If 20,000 people do it in a city, then that matters. Do it. So I think I'm at least consistent. I watch about as many women's college basketball games as I watch WNBA games. That will probably stay the same. A lot of people who've watched Caitlin Clark in college will not watch her in the WNBA game. Not because they're like ethically opposed or zero interest, just because they won't be bothered. And, this is your
We'll
chance.
see. We'll see.
Because a lot of people who would tell me that, oh, women's basketball, it's on the up. It's way more popular than men's basketball. And I turn around and say, who won the WNBA championship last year? Not only can they not tell me who won the WNBA championship last year, couldn't even tell me a WNBA team. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but if you really want to support the sport, support it.
Yeah.
And I say this as someone who supports small teams, small sports. And the only way I can do that is by watching, attending, giving my dollar vote towards them. That's all you got. Do it.
Support those Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah, to Google it though. I saw you. But yeah, and I think they played the New York Liberty in the WNBA.
Yes,
yeah,
they did.
There you go. I didn't have to Google it.
Back-to-back champions, those Aces.
Yeah. So, yeah, there we go.
Do you have any more sports-related topics?
Maybe quickly, just worth saying that obviously the Stephon Diggs trade in the NFL, maybe worth just mentioning. Pretty major trade for the Bills to seemingly trade away their number one weapon to a team.
Clearly wasn't happy.
He clearly wasn't happy. I don't think they were happy with him.
No.
It seems like he might be a little bit of a locker room cancer at this point. Interesting to see. Texans up and coming. Look as if you got a great quarterback there. Nice
Joe
offense.
Mixon now.
Yeah.
Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon, CJ Stroud.
A lot of weapons. Weak
That's
division.
crazy.
Super weak division. You would think now we got to lock the Texans into playoff appearances for the next few years. But Stephon Diggs, I think he's got to prove some people wrong now because, in a sense, we saw the same thing from him with the Vikings, which is great production. Then everything went wrong. The Bills got traded there. Great production. Everything went wrong. I'm sure next year with the Texans, he's going to be amazing. But let's see what he looks like year 2 and year 3 with the Texans.
No, well, did you see what they are doing with him? They're not. They didn't sign him to a contract. They're
Sure, but
letting
they're
him
probably
walk after
going
that
to.
year.
Yeah,
But they did that purposely because they want him to perform well because it'll be a contract year.
But I think he would have anyway because we kind of see with him. I think he goes to a new place and he wants to
Maybe
be loved. So I think no matter what, they would have had a good year 1 out of him.
Did you see that also, though, was that trade was also part of the Deshaun Watson pick? So that's another element they've gotten now from getting rid of Deshaun Watson.
No, it has the potential to be historically, potentially the kind of greatest trade of all time, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Stephon Diggs. He's a top 5 wide receiver when he maybe wants to be, but he might be like a top 50 wide receiver on the basis of what his production really looks like, especially in games where you need him to be very good. Like he disappears towards the back end of seasons. He's very lucky, right, that he has the Minnesota Miracle on his resume, which fundamentally is him making a normal catch and a cornerback making a terrible play. You know, like if you remove that, it's a little bit of a tougher look for Stephon Diggs.
Well, I've got a few short stories. This could be Frank's short story corner, but the first one, actually, Eddie, is we usually let you take some of the rants and kind of rip into some people. I saw something happened twice in the span of 24 hours that I just have to question people's just decision making and just self-respect in the fact that I saw 2 people in public sitting. So one was like outside at like a restaurant, and then the other one was in like a cafe on campus. Have a bag of chips, and then seemingly finish the bag of chips and decide that they weren't quite finished yet and had to pull I'm going to pour all of the crumbs from this bag directly into my mouth with the tilt of the bag with like their face in it like it's a muzzle. It is. I don't know what possesses people. Just have a little self-dignity, self-respect. Like you don't need to be in public shoving your snout into a plastic bag of grease and salt to get that last morsel of 99-cent chip. Just fucking stop. It is disgusting.
Yeah, look, there's ways in which you can finish off a snack or something at home that you just can't do in public. Like if you're in the privacy of your own home and you want to pour the bag of chips into your mouth, I still might question your decisions to a slight degree, but you have every right to do so. Yeah, I'm 100% on board with you. You don't do that in public. Like have some self-respect.
Yeah.
You do look.
It's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. But most people don't. All right, what's rant number 2?
That was my only rant, and then I just
okay.
have some little stories. So you obviously didn't see the eclipse, but I got to see about 75% was what it got to in Arizona. So not full coverage, not totality, as these scientists would say, but we did get to see it. I don't know if you saw, but there were a lot of deals going around the fast food world because of the rare total solar eclipse. So I'm going to read a few out and tell me if you would have been interested and bit the bullet and gotten this. So Burger King had a...
Can I have a quick eclipse rant before you go into your eclipse deals?
Okay, what's your rant on the eclipse?
Can people stop pretending that they care about eclipses this much?
I thought it was cool. I looked at it for 10 minutes.
It's kind of cool. Look, I can believe you. You're a man of science. You care about these things. But the average person who couldn't even look up the sky most days, tell me anything about the solar system, but has to be suddenly tell me that they want to travel thousands of miles to see this eclipse and spend tons of money. It's just, I don't know. I think it's an indictment of our society that because people add significance to it, people give significance to it in their own lives, when realistically they don't give a fuck. Like, I don't think you're going to stare up at I don't think the average person is staring up at the eclipse and feeling anything of any significance. And yet they pretend to because they feel like they should, But anyway, that's my rant. That's not saying that not everyone, there are plenty of people out there who care. I'm not saying no one does.
We have an astronomy geek friend.
Yeah. And 100%.
Oh, I should have sent him pictures of it. God damn it.
100% believe him or a host of others. There's lots of people out there, but the vast majority, that suddenly the significant percentage of the world, I'm not saying you would not bother to see it if you live in the area where it's happening, but they're like traveling to see it. Oh my, I'm taking an eclipse flight. I'm doing all this nonsense. Fuck off. Like the rest of your life, you have zero passion for anything scientific, but okay, it's a good Instagram video, so I got to believe you care about it.
So Eddie, if you were in the States, would you have been tempted by the Burger King buy one Whopper, get one Whopper free on Monday?
I'm not a huge Whopper fan, but sure.
Okay. So Chili's had 2 days worth of deals. You could snag a free appetizer on April 7th or 8th when you purchase an adult entree. Does that get you into Chili's? Free appy?
I've never been to a Chili's before, so I'm going to say no.
How about Cracker Barrel? We had a friend who would have sprinted to the Cracker Barrel to get the deal of a free side of pancakes when they order an entree. The Eclipse pancakes, as they were called.
So I've also never been to a Cracker Barrel. So I'll say that tempts me a little bit more. Like if I was in an area that had a Cracker Barrel, that could probably do it. I'm so far struggling to understand the correlation between these deals and the eclipse itself. It just seems like a normal promotion, but adding the word eclipse to it. But like if these were moon-shaped pancakes, which I guess technically round pancakes are, but if they were doing the kind of crescent shape, then I would have maybe been more on board. But yeah, okay, I'll say if I lived in an area with a Cracker Barrel, the free pancakes might have tempted me for a breakfast, potentially.
How about Pizza Hut, $12 large pizza, up to 10 toppings. That's a pretty good deal.
I mean, I don't think I want 10 toppings on a pizza, but...
All right, this one I know you'd hit. Wendy's, free chocolate frosty with any purchase at the restaurant.
Yeah, well, I think we discussed this previously, right? I had a very underwhelming experience when I went for a Frosty for the first time as an adult, having experienced them as a child. I think I'd pass on that because I have a very nostalgic view of the Frosty, and my adult experience ruined that. So I think I want to leave whatever remaining positive views I have of the Frosty intact. So I would say no to the Wendy's Frosty.
Well, the only other deal you've got, Eddie, is Krispy Kreme did a 1-day special for the Oreo donut, where they made the donut with an Oreo right on top to make it look like a total eclipse.
Well, I'll give Krispy Kreme credit for at least having something eclipse themed in the menu
It
itself.
actually looked kind of cool. Let me phrase that. The promo picture that they provided to news outlets, looks really good. I can't imagine it looked that cool in person. The Oreo is probably like half off the donut, or there's no sparkles, because they even made like the sky, like chocolate frosting on the bottom with sprinkles to make it look like stars in the sky. It looks cool in this picture. Can't imagine it looked cool in real life.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, the donut thing is obviously a joke with me, but I'm a basic donut person, so that wouldn't also tempt me all that much. But well, I would have gone out of my way more for an actual eclipse themed element. Speaking of food, I guess every year so far we have mentioned what the Masters Champions dinner will be like. Maybe worth us just mentioning, obviously, John Rahm hosting the
Oh, I
dinner.
haven't seen it. Is the menu out?
Menu's out. I've got the menu. Now,
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, I
it
love this. I'm in for a shock here.
so I'll see how much this tempts you. Now, I am not going to attempt the Spanish names of the food that is on offer. I'll not offend our Spanish listeners. So this menu pays homage to the Basque region of Spain. So mainly dishes from that area.
Ooh.
So, and is being prepared by Jose Andres, a Spanish chef. So it starts with 6 different choices of tapas. Doesn't say what they are, but okay. Followed by a Basque crab salad.
Wait. I have the tapas.
You have what the tapas are? Okay.
Yeah. So you have Ibiricos, which is the like
Ham.
most people might know, like
Yeah.
prosciutto, kind of like ham, sliced ham, and then uh yeah, I'm not going to say some of these names. One is one is cheese with black truffle sauce.
Yeah.
Another one is Spanish omelet, onions, and confit potatoes. Another one is a croqueta, creamy chicken fritter, confit potatoes. Uh, oof. Mama Ram's.
It's the classic
Mama
Spanish
Ram's
dish.
classic lentil stew. Uh, and uh, and chorizo and potato is the
Okay.
last one. So 6 different tapas. All sound
Enjoyable.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love like Spanish croquetas. They're so good.
Lentil soup I'd probably pass on, especially if it's
Yeah.
kind of hot in Augusta. I think I might give that
Yeah.
one a miss, but aside from that, it all sounds pretty tempting. The first course then after those little sort of amuse bouche are
Or tapas, as they're called.
yeah, but, you've got the Basque crab salad, which sounds nice.
What does that mean, though? What are we talking? Is this like a cold, like salad, in the sense that you have a little crab mixed with like some sauce, like a little mayo, like lemon sauce, or is it just like some lettuce with, or spinach or greens with just some crab dumped on top?
Just dumped on top. It also says it contains potato, so I'm imagining some kind of cold potato crab salad.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm down for that, really. That doesn't, let me put it this way, that doesn't excite me. That's a, okay, I'll try this dish. It's not a like, I gotta sign up, I gotta win the Masters to eat this.
Then the main course, you have a choice between a smoked and seared Basque ribeye steak
Now we're talking.
or a turbot and Navarra white asparagus dish.
No, I mean, you go ribeye all day.
White
The
asparagus,
wimp who
very.
takes the fish option there, that's weak.
Hey, people, white asparagus, right? Only in season for a short period of time. Very popular when it is. And I think Rom was particularly, it's a white fish, very local from where I come from, which actually most common is cod or sea bass, but I don't like cod. So I refuse to have something I don't like at my dinner.
Well, I'm surprised then he chose Mama Ram's lentil stew, because I've heard him talk shit on that for years.
and then his dessert is a puff pastry cake with custard and whipped cream.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I think that the tapas are the way to go. Like, if I'm going to this dinner, I'm hoping that's we're just going to keep bringing out plates of these things, and you can just keep going. I want to get to that ribeye 70% full.
What are the chances if you were at that dinner? Because obviously, in addition to that, what's on offer, you can just order anything from the normal menu.
Oh, I don't like that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can just order. In addition to everything they're providing, you can just order like a club sandwich or whatever they serve.
No, they should knock that rule out.
Well,
this is part of you're the winner. You set the menu, so maybe you know what? Maybe McElroy, maybe he's allergic to ribeye, and that's why I'm putting it on the menu.
Just take out your competition. I mean, McElroy's never won the Masters, so he will be fine. But
true.
But so you're saying you would never order from the menu?
No. I'm eating what they're giving me.
You're 80 years old. You won the Masters 55 years ago. You've been going to this dinner. The kind of prestige of the dinner has maybe worn off slightly, as special as it is. You're like, here we go again. Champions dinner number 55. Some asshole's going to pick some local cuisine and I'm going to have to eat it. And he's going to tell me how incredible and meaningful it is to him. But I really just deep down want a burger.
No way. I mean, worst case scenario, you just leave that dinner and then just go get a burger.
Okay. But there's no scenario. I'm just interested. You're saying no.
I would always try. I'm always a person who would try anything. If someone told me genuinely this is good, I would try it. Now, I'm not saying if someone was like, oh, try these bull testicles. No, whatever. I'm not going to eat shit just because it's gross.
Well, what if it was
bull
testicles?
I don't think I'll eat that. But you know what I mean? If someone was these are the things that I enjoy the most, I think they taste great. Of course, I would try them.
How much would you judge some of your fellow champions?
Heavily.
Yeah?
Heavily.
So if you turn up and you're like, fucking Scotty Scheffler just always orders the club sandwich, never has the thing on offer.
Oh, I thought you were saying how much would I judge them if they were these are my favorite foods.
No.
I was like, these are terrible.
No. Because I'm going to presume, no matter what.
How much would you judge if Scheffler refuses this and orders a double cheeseburger
every time?
Yeah, he's an asshole. Yeah. He's an asshole.
Okay. Now that I don't know what, we don't have to single out Scheffler for this, but yeah.
No, he's an asshole regardless.
Okay, it's interesting.
Shouldn't have missed that fucking putt 2 weeks ago.
I do agree with you. I can maybe understand if we're getting into he's 88, he just wants to eat the Cobb salad. I can maybe. I'll give that guy a pass, but certainly anyone under 80 who decides I'm not going to try this guy's menu. The interesting thing is I might feel differently. In this instance, it's maybe giving you the chance to taste something else. But Tiger Woods had burgers. And I think Scotty Scheffler last year just had some barbecue and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do I feel differently if on Nick Faldo had fish and chips, I think. Do I feel differently if you turn down the fish and chips and you just have a burger instead? Do I feel differently about that?
No, I think it's part of the tradition. You know what? If you want to eat what you want to eat, you should have fucking won the Masters.
When you're 80?
Suck on that, Fred Couples. I don't give a shit if you're 80 years old now.
Right,
win the goddamn thing and you can eat whatever the hell you want.
There we go. All right. I guess that wraps up. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a Masters talk on our next episode. Worth noting, Scotty Scheffler, heavy favorite heading into the Masters from a Masters perspective. Like very short priced from a betting odds. But switching to non-sports, then I guess. Curb Your Enthusiasm wrapped up.
I have not watched the last episode yet.
There we go. No chance to discuss the Curb Your Enthusiasm series finale when it was topical.
Sorry. I forgot. You know what? I honestly forgot that this season has not been very good.
Yeah, it is a little bit too much of trying to give everyone their kind of say goodbye moment, and the storyline surrounding the trial is not that compelling.
And I will say, like, I think genuinely, I think we've talked about this too. The problem is they're kind of running out of things to make light of that people like have issues with. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like tipping, you know, and like who picks up the check and things like those topical things that everyone kind of has like, oh yeah, I've always thought that too. Like he's sticking up for me, making a case. Because some of the ones this year have been really weird. Like the one of like flipping the keys to the valet. Like that seemed pretty stupid. Like, is that really a thing? I mean, I know people throw keys sometimes, but is that like really a thing that valet people are angry about and that people have talks about?
I mean, maybe. I would judge you a little bit if
so.
you tossed your keys at the valet. If you didn't know the valet, I might have a slight judgment there. What I will say on the final episode, this is not a spoiler, but one of those things is they're flying from LA to Atlanta for the trial, and he refuses to switch his phone off and gets kind of repeatedly told, switch your phone off. And that feels
you don't
like
switch your phone off anymore.
Well, onto airplane mode.
Oh.
That feels like one of those again where I don't know if you're really. Usually it felt like you're kind of on the side of right. Like maybe socially unacceptable to be there, but you're kind of on the side of right. Saying when someone like a flight attendant comes up to you and says, "Hey, can you put your phone on airplane mode?" to say, "Why do I need to do it?" It's like, well, you know, this is.
I don't put my phone in airplane mode.
Really? You're one of those people?
Yeah. There's no point. I watched Mythbusters. They told me it's bullshit.
No, Mythbusters has never been wrong.
Nope. But I will caveat that by saying I'm not the person who's like on the phone as like the plane's taking off.
Here's
like those are the people. That's why I think they say it half the time is as a way to get people to stop fucking talking or using their phone.
Maybe. I think there is I don't know. I still think ideally you kind of don't want a bunch of potential, I don't know. But here's the one thing I'll say is, why do you not want your phone on airplane mode? Because at 35,000 feet, you don't get reception anyway. Like you're either Wi-Fi or not Wi-Fi. You see what I mean? Like once the plane has taken off, your phone not being in airplane mode doesn't allow you to do anything. Like either the plane has Wi-Fi or you got no signal. That's the only thing that I would go back to when someone would say, I'm not switching it off, is like, well, you're not getting anything out. You're not like gaming the system that we're going to get up in the air and you're getting free internet while the rest
That's what you think. I've been streaming for years.
All right. Good for you. It doesn't work on my phone. And I only know that because switching between the Wi-Fi and non-Wi-Fi has occasionally led to me not having airplane mode on and there's no reception there. But yeah, it was an okay finale. It's a difficult thing to wrap up a TV show, especially one that's been on for 20 years. But yeah, it was okay.
Let me get controversial with you, because one of the later episodes is a situation where he was hooking up with a woman who then transitions into being a man, and then they like meet and he doesn't know who it is, and he gets very upset that the man says, we used to date and we used to have sex and we used to hook up. Do you think you would have that reaction that he had? Because
Well,
he is like very angry about it.
he's not angry. He doesn't like saying it's as if let's say you used to be Francesca, and then now, and you and I used to hook up, and then now you're Frank, and you're saying, well, yeah, Eddie hooked up with me. That's what he's like. I didn't hook up with you. I hooked up with Francesca. Like, he's differentiating between the kind of two identities.
But is this really like one, is this significant of an issue? And two, I genuinely think he like overreacts to that. Like, I don't really see the big deal.
No, I don't either.
That was like one of those ones where I was like, I'm not on board with this one. This doesn't seem like an issue.
I've never been in that situation. So I guess the only thing I would say is if the person saying it provided some level of context and nuance, then it would never bother me. But obviously,
which they did.
Yes. But obviously, if it were someone introducing themselves just as a man, physically appears as a man, if again it was like, hi, I'm Frank. Oh, how do you know Eddie? Eddie and I used to hook up. That might make me go, let me provide some additional context. Frank used to be a woman. Just because, again, not being homophobic, but you might want to be like, just so you know, I'm not gay or bisexual. I'm just trying to clarify what ultimately, I think I would, in order to avoid controversy, I think I would just not make the point. I guess part of the point of Curb Your Enthusiasm, right, is he's never avoiding controversy. Like, he's kind of he's not a real character. He's
embracing it.
Yeah. But yeah, it feels like you're right. It feels like they exhausted these are the things in life that really do annoy you. And now we've ended up with very, very minor, somewhat irrelevant issues.
Can you tell me one thing? Is Richard Lewis in the finale?
He is.
Oh, God.
Actually, quite significantly. He's in the finale more than any other episode of the final season, I think.
It's a little like I cringe when I watch him on screen.
Yeah. Like
the old cars. Oh, that was another thing. The old car. Yeah, I'm kind of out on this season. I'm now, like, the episodes are coming back because I watched a few in a row. Like the whole Springsteen one that was with the transition person. Like, that one didn't do anything for me. A lot of these, I feel now, it's just like, let's bring all these old people in and have like a scene together. Like Buscemi.
Yeah.
Holy crap, did he look terrible? But that's what it was. You know what I mean? It's like, can't we bring in some youth into this show? Can you bring in someone under 65 for like a scene?
The other issue, I think, with a little bit with the Bruce Springsteen episode, it feels weird because the pandemic is not that long ago. However, the significance of the kind of COVID storyline, which I'm sure when they were filming it was way more relevant, but because we've just kind of, and COVID remains an issue, you can still get it. It can still be serious. But it feels so dated to like put the COVID element as like a major part of the storyline that it felt weird because you're kind of supposed to be viewing it as if this is going on now. And it felt like too much of an issue for what it would really be like now versus what it would have been 18 months ago, 2 years ago. And that's where the timing of when it was filmed versus obviously when it came out and maybe is a slight problem.
Well, I don't know, though, because the season before they were already making fun of COVID because they did the hoarders. Remember what's his face does his the fake funeral and he's like the hoard. So that was already mocking like the end of COVID. So it really wasn't like this it did seem like really out of place.
And it's also weird, right?
And it just wasn't that funny of a storyline.
And maybe give Curb some credit. For the most part, TV shows and media have avoided COVID at all costs. Like, no one's wearing masks. We don't acknowledge that this happened. like we've lived through this thing, but like it's never going to enter into the world of our TV show. And actually, Curb maybe deserves some weird credit, even though it only happens every couple of years. We're still like acknowledging the existence of the pandemic as part of the reality of the show. So, and that kind of makes it feel weirder because most of the TV shows we watch are just like, no, like we're never going to even, COVID did not exist in our world. So,
Yeah.
makes it feel stranger, even though it shouldn't do. But yeah, I got nothing else from a TV movie. I've still kept on plugging away at Shogun, still enjoying it. I'm
So good.
plugging away at Manhunt, enjoying it a little bit less, but it is what it is.
I'm gonna start Ripley probably this week. It's a Netflix show with Andrew Scott. People would know him as the priest from Fleabag season 2 or Moriarty from Sherlock, the Cumberbatch version. But it's based off of like the books, like Talented Mr. Ripley, like that story about like the con man Ripley. It looks pretty good, and it got decent reviews, so I'll probably give that a go. Finish The Gentleman. I think we talked about that last time. And finish book 1 of Three Body Problem, and now on to book 2.
How are you enjoying the book?
The first book was really good. Book 2 has like
where does book 1 cover in the story? Like what?
So from what I've heard, it is that the show encompasses all the books kind of at once. Like there's elements of
Okay,
different parts of the
like
book
hops
and
around.
everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why now I still have to finish these other 2 books, and they're getting longer.
All right. Well, good luck.
But book 1 was really good for anyone who is a sci-fi fan. Three Body Problem was really good, and then 2 is like it's like a whole different level. It's interesting so far.
And if, like me, you're not a huge sci-fi fan, and if, like me, occasionally you do struggle to sleep, then Three Body Problem as a TV show, excellent sleep aid.
I am very interested to see how they adapt this, because reading it seems very difficult.
I think probably they adapted it kind of well. Like the production quality of the show is not bad. Like that is not at all my criticism of it. The acting is pretty good. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It was not a
Like
compelling story to me in any way, and they were just
you watched the whole thing?
Yeah. Well,
holy crap!
I fell asleep for probably 50% of it, so I think saying I watched it all might be a stretch.
Wow. But you watched all episodes.
Technically, my body was present for all episodes being displayed on the television. It was a 2-body problem in terms of my viewership of the show. Yeah, I got nothing else.
All right, well, I guess with that, we'll call it a day.
All right, sounds good.
See you.